Hoarding disorder can affect people of all ages, races, genders, nationalities, educational background, and socioeconomic levels. This serious mental health disorder affects people's cognitive function, causing them to have extreme personal attachments to things, poor decision-making skills, and difficulty getting rid of too many possessions that are no longer useful. Any efforts to assist in cleaning, organizing, and not acquiring new items can cause people with this disorder to experience distress, anxiety, and even depression. This mindset leads to feelings of being overwhelmed and alone, especially if there are too many animals living in the home.
For the Community Services Board, we encounter individuals with hoarding disorder. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, or DSM-5, classifies psychiatric illness in individuals. In 2013, hoarding disorder became a specific diagnosis, yet it can still exist with other related disorders, a term called comorbidity of conditions. The most common illnesses associated with hoarding disorder are mood, thought, or anxiety disorders, obsessive-compulsive disorders, attention deficit disorders, and substance use disorders. Hoarding can surface between ages 11 and 15 and gets worse with age. By age 55, symptoms are usually severe and harder to treat in individuals predisposed. The result is significant accumulations of clutter. The frontal lobe is a part of the brain that manages higher-level executive functions. When we categorize, think abstractly, and make decisions, the frontal lobe coordinates with other parts of the brain. A person with a solidly functioning frontal lobe can make decisions in a timely manner, be focused, and can plan. There is evidence that changes occur in the frontal lobe of individuals who are diagnosed with hoarding disorder, and that their brains are wired differently. Patterns of heightened brain activity have been observed when people have to make choices about discarding possessions. The frontal lobe does not communicate with other parts of the brain, creating deficits in acquiring and discarding information appropriately. Simply illustrated, let's look at a pile of buttons. A person with a properly functioning frontal lobe will put all the buttons in a labeled jar to differentiate them from non-button items. A person with a poorly functioning frontal lobe will be confused and won't know where to begin. They might pile buttons by shape, size, or color, age, or purpose of the button. In the end, they cannot create a classification system, or they form hundreds of piles which take up space. The task becomes overwhelming and cannot be finished. As people with hoarding disorder excessively acquire items, their decision-making and organizational skills become more impaired, making them anxious and fearful, because they cannot discriminate between trash and treasures. Brain imaging shows when faced with discarding their possessions, a spike in neural activity causes the brain to go into overdrive. This is a vicious cycle, and this is hoarding disorder.
It is estimated that hoarding disorder affects 2 to 5% of the population. In Fairfax County alone, with a population of more than 1.1 million people, it is estimated that up to 22,000 people are living in a hoarded home right now. Individuals with this disorder fall into one of three categories. The individual knows there is a problem, understands the associated danger, but makes no effort to change. The individual recognizes some aspects of the problem, but not the extent of the danger, and makes no effort to change. The individual does not recognize the problem in any form and isn't willing to change. Only 15% of affected people can acknowledge they have a problem, and even less than this will seek help on their own.
There is, I think, a predisposition to people that naturally collect things. There's that predisposition. It's that whole nature-nurture. I believe people sometimes get to that place where they're how did I get here? Well, you had years of this and years of that, and everything piles up, and you didn't know you had this, and you didn't know you had that, and half of the things that you used to own, you don't even know where they are. And I think it's easy to get into that victim mentality. Is for me, but I think they've affected relationships that I couldn't necessarily maintain consistently because I've been bombarded with things. I've had to put a lot of little things on hold because the home situation or the circumstances that I was in didn't allow that. When you're not ready, you just shut all those doors and close the curtains, and you isolate yourself.
Certain circumstances can cause an individual to be predisposed to or begin demonstrating symptoms of hoarding disorder. These include genetics or early family life. Hoarding may run in families. Almost 50% of people who hoard have a family member who also hoards. Having certain personality traits. These include being indecisive, impulsive, or a procrastinator, being detail-oriented to the point of perfectionism, having difficulty categorizing. Personal illness. This makes it difficult to care for yourself and your surroundings. Substance abuse, especially alcoholism. Finally, sudden stressful events. 50% of people who hoard have suffered serious trauma in their lives, such as the death of a loved one, divorce, devastating loss due to a fire.
In my 30 years working as a public servant in the field of geriatric social work, I have had the opportunity to be in many homes of those with hoarding disorder. I'd like to take a moment to share some lessons we professional helpers have learned from our clients. Clinically, we now know that brain scans reveal different patterns of cerebral activation in those with true hoarding disorder. Practically, this means this disorder is now covered by insurances that will pay therapists, and that those with the disorder are a protected class in terms of laws, such as the Americans with Disabilities Act. Each person with a disorder has a theme or themes that predominate their own thinking. Themes we have seen with our clients are: 1, the fear of waste. Someone should be able to use this. I can't just throw it away. 2, the psychology of opportunity. I'm going to use all that stuff to do an art project for my church one day. 3, the comfort and safety of things around them. Many of those with the disorder did not have warm or supportive environments growing up. For many with this disorder, having stuff in their homes, looking at it, moving it, feels to them like a full life, synonymous with doing and being. Our clients often tell us they don't have enough time to clean and organize, and also they are going to get to it, just give me more time. These statements are heartfelt and completely true from their point of view. Unfortunately, alone, their minds are not equipped to accomplish the immense task of decluttering and organizing due to their unique brain structure. So how do we help those with this disorder? It is critical to show empathy within your communication style, as well as remove judgment and disgust from it. Treat the individual as an entire person. Don't just focus on their problem. They are not defined by their clutter. They have unique personalities, talents, and histories as individuals. Never forget, in this process, we are looking for harm reduction and getting back into compliance regarding any code violations, not house beautiful.
The impact of hoarding disorder on people's lives can be monumental. Individuals put themselves at risk for injury or death by living in increasingly dangerous conditions. This can cause tremendous and long-lasting impacts on relationships with friends and family members that live with or care about these individuals. Removing possessions can cause significant distress and increased depression. Therefore, most individuals living with hoarding disorder are not able to seek help on their own. Professional assistance is often the only catapult for positive change. If you or someone you know is experiencing hardship associated with hoarding disorder, please don't hesitate to reach out to Fairfax County for assistance. You can visit our website or contact the following agencies: There is no time like the present to get someone the help they need to begin living their best life.